spell your name?
Good morning. I'm Walter Rabon, Walterrabon, and I serve as the Commissioner of the Georgia Department of Natural Resources. First, let me say that our hearts, thoughts, and prayers are broken and are thinking about those that lost loved ones, those that lost their lives yesterday. Again, the families continue to be in our thoughts and prayers. Yesterday, hundreds of visitors traveled to Sapelo Island in celebration of Cultural Day to celebrate and honor the Gullah Geechee heritage. This is an annual event hosted by the Sapelo Island Cultural and Revitalization Society. Heartbreakingly, these celebrations ended in a tragedy as a gangway that led from the dock to the ferry collapsed and approximately 20 people fell into the water at the Marsh Landing dock. Guests were in the process of loading the ferry, the Anne Marie, which was tied up to the dock. There were 2 additional ferry runs that were scheduled to take place after the ferry run where the tragedy occurred. At this time, we can confirm 7 deceased individuals and 3 individuals that remain in the hospital in critical condition. I've been in communication with Governor Kemp, who is making all needed resources available for this response. We're grateful to our partner agencies that assisted, including the McIntosh County Sheriff's Office, the McIntosh County Fire Department, the Camden County Sheriff's Office, the Georgia State Patrol, and the U.S. Coast Guard, among others. These agencies, as well as others, provided numerous assets to assist in the search and rescue efforts that took place. I also want to thank those who were on the scene as the tragedy unfolded and jumped into action. Their quick response and action saved additional lives yesterday afternoon. The initial findings of our investigation at this point show a catastrophic failure of the gangway, causing it to collapse. I can assure you that the Department of Natural Resources Critical Incident Reconstruction Team will be working tirelessly in conjunction with engineers and the Georgia Bureau of Investigation to gather and preserve evidence and interview witnesses. Again, let me reiterate, our hearts are with those that have lost loved ones and have those injured at this time. I would ask everyone here in the state of Georgia to keep these people in your thoughts and prayers as well. With that, I'll turn it over to Speaker John Burns.
Good morning. John Burns, J-O-N-B-U-R-N-S. I'm a member of the Georgia House and have the honor of serving as Speaker of the House. Here with my colleagues, 2 of my colleagues from the House, and one of them will speak in just a moment, Al Williams and Buddy Deloach, Representative Buddy Deloach, who represents this area in the House. First and foremost, our hearts go out to the families who have suffered and those individuals that tragically perished yesterday. And certainly we continue to pray for those who were injured, as the Commissioner said. Our state has great leadership. Governor Brian Kemp is certainly, his heart is with us here, with this community. His prayers and his family's prayers, as the Commissioner alluded to. Our state has suffered some tragedies here in the last few weeks, some natural disasters. This just adds to that. And I can assure you that all Georgians are praying for these families and ensuring that they're offering their condolences and their support, that they will deal with this tragic issue. I also want to commend all of the agencies, local, federal, state agencies and sheriff, and everyone that came together to ensure that immediate action occurred. And there's some local heroes here as well who jumped in and risked their own lives to help pull folks from the water. So they're our heroes as well. This is one of those things that we never can anticipate, but we know that we will offer our continued support to all of those families impacted in this, and to this community, this great resource of Sapelo Island that they were enjoying. It turned such a tragic event. We will recover. We are resilient people here in Georgia and on the coast. With God's help and continued guidance, we will all pull together and make ourselves whole again. So thank you all for being here. I want to introduce one of my colleagues, Al Williams, Representative Al Williams, who would like to have a few words as well. Representative Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Al Williams, A-L-W-I-L-L-I-A-M-S. Real tough name. All of our hearts are heavy. Such a tragedy. The Gullah Geechee community, all of this country is in mourning, along with our many, many friends. We never know, but I do know this about Sapelo and this part of Georgia. These are people of great faith. And through that faith, it will bring us through. Tragedy is never easy. But we're people that believe that God does not make mistakes. And we believe that in spite of how tough it is, that there is something good that will come out of this. We come thanking those citizens that just jumped right in and saved a lot of people, unsung heroes. And there were those that came close. I have friends that are in the hospital, now. Some that have passed on. When I was elected to the State House 22 years ago, I represented Sapelo in this part of McIntosh County. Now Representative Buddy DeLoach represents. But we've never let the line separate us. We're here. When your heart is heavy, I do what I was taught by my grandmother. Let's take it to the Lord. When I was a little boy, 5 or 6 years old, she would take me to church on Sapelo. And folk literally had to row us over there. We've come a long ways. But by faith, we've made it this far. And by faith, we'll make it on. Thank all of the state folk. Thank you, Mr. Commissioner, and your staff, and Sheriff Jessup, everyone that has had something to do with bringing a measure of comfort to this community that is in deep grieving. And thank the faith community. Last evening was a great display of unity as folks stood around and helped out at Elm Grove Baptist Church. This is just the beginning. We're resilient and we will bounce back. We will continue to have that cultural affair on Sapelo. This is just a slight delay, but it'll be bigger and better than ever next year. And we'll certainly remember our brothers and sisters who've gone on to be with the Lord. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative. This time we'd take some questions.
Commissioner, when you say this was a catastrophic failure that led to the collapse, could this have been prevented with maintenance?
At this time, the investigation has not gotten into the details of that. What I can say is that it is a structural failure. There should be very, very little maintenance to an aluminum gangway like that, but we'll see what the investigation unfolds.
How old was the gangway?
I think it was completed in November of 2021.
Are there inspections of the gangway also, periodic inspections?
Almost daily inspections. I can't say that we get up under it and inspect it daily, but yes, I mean, we routinely.
About 4 months ago, I reported to one of the DNR employees that the gangway wasn't safe. I'm J.R. Grosman. I live on Sapelo. I travel there back and forth every day. I told him the gangway wasn't safe because it was me on there by myself. It was given. I want to know, was it reported to you? Or if you wasn't here then, was it reported to any of the DNR folks? A couple of years ago, I reported that a bridge on the island was unsafe. 2 days later, and we're people that know the safety on what Sapelo takes to operate, but we always get ignored about safety concerns. We're supposed to get a helicopter and a pad for the helicopter out in Ski Field where the hogs rooting up at. And I know Sapelo, and I know that the hogs root in the field because one of the guys toting the stretcher almost tripped in that thing. He just
So this is all an ongoing investigation, and it's on what the cause of this was.
For the state, well, we're concerned as residents of Sapelo and the center.
And we understand.
And I think it's important that we immediately say from our community hearts, psychars, the families on Sapelo, that we are truly sorry. It should come from us in terms of giving our respect and our love to those that was lost. Not just from the states, the feds, and other people. We are grieving with those families. And we're hoping that we have an opportunity to speak to each one of them. My name is Reginald Hall. My telephone number is 508-309-828. We are on Sapelo fighting for our survival. And we must understand that those that passed away were here supporting a cultural event. So our hearts and our souls bleed for them from our community lips. We believe it's important as the community that you know we're wrapping our arms around you and we're praying to God. We've been fighting on paper for 15 years with the state of Georgia, with the McIntosh County. We're heading to the Supreme Court right now because the referendum was denied by the judge as they're attempting to tax us off of these lands.
Sir,
They did the things to raise the land value in a publicly corrupt act by allowing permits to build these. This
With
can't
all due
be
respect,
just about
Mr.
we are
Chairman,
here,
what
sir.
they're
We're-
saying.
Mr.
we
Dodd,
are here-
let's let the
we are
commissioner
here to
finish his
discuss.
statement. We're going off track here. My name is.
No, I don't, there is only one track. I don't know who you are, but there's only one track. And that's the track for the understanding of the tragedy that was suffered by not just those that were lost, but our people
Sir,
as well.
We're
Sir.
here.
And the committee of the island says we are sorry.
Let's listen to our public officials and let's all hear this out.
thank you, sir.
What I can say is we agree with your sentiments that this is about the catastrophe that took place yesterday, the tragedy, the fact that lives were lost. We join with the community on Sapelo Island in grieving the loss of these people. We can talk about other policies, procedures at another time, but today let's talk about the tragedy that took place yesterday.
So,
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Next question.
You said there were hundreds of people on the island yesterday for this event. Give us a sense of what the typical daily traffic is for this island ferry system and the amount of traffic that would have been on the ferries yesterday. Is that typical or is that substantially larger than what it's usually doing?
Typically, less than 100 people come and go at any given time, depending on the events that are going there. We run a state park there, the Reynolds Mansion. We have guests that come there. We have a number of tourists that come and support the community as well. But typically, less than 100. Yesterday, I'm told that we had around 700 people on the island that resulted in us offering additional ferry runs with both of our ferries, the Katie Underwood and Anne Marie.